KTLV 1220. Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the program. Tonight, the Oklahoma City Thunder faces off with the Utah Jazz, and we welcome sport contributors Trey Shelton and Justin Wright to the show. They will be offering our Thunder pregame report, as well as giving us some information on how you can follow their Thunder analysis on the web and through social media. Also, we will welcome the Vice Chairman of the Oklahoma Republican Party, Estela Hernandez. She will address the state of the GOP and will weigh in on the issues. So, folks, let's go ahead and get started. This evening, the Thunder battles the Jazz on their home turf in Utah at 8 p.m. in the Energy Solutions Arena. The Oklahoma City Thunder is currently fourth in the Western Conference, and the Jazz is sixth. So here to give us the pregame report is Justin Wright and Trey Shelton. Hey, Justin. Hey, Trey. How are you guys doing tonight?
Good, Jonathan. Thanks for having us on.
Awesome.
Thanks for having us, Jonathan.
Justin, hey, it's a real pleasure. Before we get too far into the analysis, I just wanted to ask you guys a few questions. Trey, now, which Thunder website do you guys write for, and what's the address to it?
Well, we're writing for a little website called Thunder Op-Ed right now, and you can follow that at thunderoped.com. It's got the same Twitter handle as well, at Thunder Op-Ed. And then we've all got our personal Twitter accounts that you can follow on there and get some really great Thunder coverage.
Awesome. Okay, and you say Thunder Op-Ed, so that's THUNDER OP?
Yes, sir.
And then
ED.
ED. Okay, awesome. And so that is just the website, or is there did you say there was a Twitter to that too?
Yeah, we've got a Twitter account and Facebook page as well under just the same name, Thunder Op-Ed. And if you go to the website, then you'll find both of those accounts that you can follow through the various social media as well.
Awesome. So how frequently do you guys post in Thunder Op-Ed?
Well, we try to do something every game day. Things have been a little crazy with how much we've been playing right now, so we're slacking a little bit behind that. But every week we generate at least 2 or 3 new things for everybody to check out that are Thunder related.
Awesome. And Justin, if I recall, you have quite the large social media following on Twitter, don't you?
Yeah, I've been running at Thunder Tie since about 2010 when we played 2011 when we played the Dallas Mavericks in the Western Conference Finals. And it's been a great way to interact with fans and just have a lot of fun on game days.
Awesome. Now, Justin, has there been a highlight of this season that you've really treasured with the Thunder?
So far this season, it's one, just seeing Kevin Durant back. And of course, we're going to see him tonight again. He's going to play. That news just broke, so that's going to be really exciting. But seeing him back in the lineup was really, really big after a tough last season that just injuries really, really plagued this team.
Okay. Well, Trey, how about you?
I think the highlight for me so far this season is seeing Russell Westbrook's continued growth into becoming arguably the best point guard in the NBA right now. I know that I consider him the best point guard. I think that's a pretty contentious debate at this point. But he's one of the highest scorers in the league, and he's also up there near the top in assists per game as well, which was the biggest argument against him back in the day was he didn't pass enough. So it's fun to see him continue growing as an outstanding player and point guard.
I see. And, this year Oklahoma City saw Scott Brooks leave, and then we opened the door to Billy Donovan. What do you guys think about our new coach, Billy Donovan? Trey?
Well, I think he's bringing definitely a new flair to this team. We're a little more offensively oriented this season than we were last season. It's been really fun basketball to watch. But with a new system comes a little bit of growing pains, and we're seeing that right now while continuing to put up, I believe we're the second highest scoring offensive team in the league right now.
Okay. Justin, what's your take on our new coach, Billy Donovan?
Well, just kind of to echo what Trey said, it's definitely a lot of growing pains right now with this team. The defense has been struggling to this point in the season through 14 games, but we are seeing a lot more ball movement, a lot more off-ball movement, which is really exciting for this team. So it's one of those works in progress, but I really like what I've seen so far as this offensive output is going.
All right. And with Donovan coming straight from coaching the collegiate team, the Florida Gators, I believe, does he have the NBA experience that it takes to make a winning team out of the Thunder?
Well, I think he's shown that he's got the capability to get this team to buy into his system and really get things going. So I don't think you necessarily need NBA experience. You're seeing him succeed, albeit relatively slowly compared to what we're used to here in Oklahoma City with regards to our basketball team. But there have been two college coaches that made the jump this year: Billy Donovan and Fred Hoiberg out in Chicago, and he's having great success too. So I don't necessarily believe that you need to have prior NBA coaching experience to have success.
Okay. Justin, do you see it any differently?
A little bit. I know there's a track record in the NBA for college coaches not really having the same success that they had in college as they do in the NBA. But with Billy Donovan, you're seeing a guy who has great pedigree with basketball, is a consummate professional on the court, really has his team and his players really follow his style. And to have the kind of success with a team so far, to have them just completely enamored with the system that he's trying to run, that speaks a lot to his character and what he does on the court. I think that's really impressive for Billy Donovan coming from the college ranks.
Awesome. Wasn't he an NBA player himself?
I believe he bounced around the league for a couple of years before he settled back into coaching to get his basketball outlet.
Okay, I see. So do you guys have any more analysis for us, perhaps tonight's game?
Yeah, we can start with tonight's game. The big news for tonight clearly is Kevin Durant being back in the lineup. And we're taking on a team that is in our division in the Utah Jazz. And if you look at those standings, we are currently 8-6, and the Jazz are 6-6. So tonight could see the Jazz tie us for the lead in the division. So it's a fairly important early season game. You try not to put too much stock into the first month and a half of the season, but it could really set the tone for the rest of the divisional race, I believe.
Okay.
And I really think this is going to be an interesting matchup. Right now, you're looking at the Oklahoma City Thunder as the second highest scoring team in the NBA versus the Utah Jazz, who are the second team as far as defensive points allowed go in the NBA. So you definitely have a balance between offense and defense, especially as far as the Thunder are really trying to find out what their defensive identity is. I think you saw a little bit of it last night. Granted, they gave up 114 points, but you're starting to see guys get over the top of screens rather than switching everything. And I think the more they buy into the system, the more they play in it, you see a lot more confidence.
And I think tonight, Andre Robertson will be particularly important. Utah's got some really high-scoring guard players in Gordon Hayward and Alec Burks, who can really put the ball in the bucket. So I think Andre Robertson is going to be really important tonight when you look at the role that he's going to play.
Well, and especially looking at him this season, right now, opponent field goal percentage from 5 to 29 feet is significantly lower when Robertson is on the court. I think he plays a really big role in this game. He's a long defender. He moves his feet really, really well. He's a little slow at times, but especially against a Gordon Hayward or even an Alec Burks, I think he can make the plays that are necessary, really frustrate those guys that can shoot the ball into missing a lot of shots, getting out of their rhythm, getting in their face at times, and hopefully staying out of foul trouble.
Well, he's just so long and athletic. It's going to be frustrating for anybody that's playing on him, particularly when these guys are used to putting up pretty big points per game that they hopefully won't get to tonight.
Oh, absolutely. And you're looking at a Utah team that outside of really Hayward and Burks, who we mentioned, they're not putting up a whole lot of points. So as long as you can frustrate those guys, you look at yourself giving yourself a really good chance to win this game. It's definitely a game that Thunder should win. It's just, do you slack a little bit on the defensive end like we've seen several times this season? I really want to see good defensive intensity, and really effort's going to be the key tonight.
Well, I think the news of getting KD back tonight, I think will hopefully set this team's head right in their defensive mindset. You know, he's a leader. He's been improving his defense from season to season. If he can come out and help create that defensive intensity, and everybody's playing together again, now that we've got a healthy team, I think we'll see some defensive intensity changes tonight.
Oh, I absolutely agree, and obviously we barely need to mention the offensive end. Obviously, with KD, four-time scoring champion, he was the MVP a few seasons ago. The guy's absolutely incredible. One of the best shooters, one of the best scorers that's ever played this game. Having him back in the lineup is incredible for this offense. But as you said, definitely for this team, he's the leader. He and Russ really drive this team. So to have both of them in the lineup at the same time, something that, frankly, we haven't seen a whole lot in the past season and into this season, it's going to be absolutely huge for this Thunder team.
Oh, I agree completely. And, you know, you look at those two, they set the tone every game. And Russell is he's going to be a bulldog on the defensive end. He's going to get his shots and create other shots on the offensive end. And I'm really excited to see him and KD, hopefully for a long time now, play together going forward in this season.
It's definitely going to be an interesting topic this offseason. But on your point with Russell Westbrook, the guy is huge in assists, huge in points right now. But I think something that he's got the ability to do is play excellent defense. We see it from time to time. Sometimes he flags off a little bit on the defensive end. Last night, 5 steals, was really intense. He's going to gamble. He's always going to gamble on the defensive end. That's the kind of mindset he is. He's a very high energy player. If he can get those steals, it really sets the tone for our defense, gets us out in transition where obviously we have been very, very effective over the last several seasons as a team.
Trey and Justin, I know you guys agree on quite a few issues. Are there some issues that you guys completely disagree on when it comes to the Thunder?
I'm not sure that there's a whole bunch that we disagree on necessarily, but I think, you know, just to bring it back to something that we do agree on, I think we both understand that maybe the rest of the people who watch the Thunder don't agree with is the importance that Andre Robertson plays for this team. He's one of the most important players in the starting lineup. He's not flashy with what he does, but he's another one of those guys that holds it down at the defensive end and does exactly what we need and what we expect.
Okay, is there another player that really stands out to you?
Tonight for me it's going to be Enes Kanter. Enes Kanter, it's his second trip back to Salt Lake City since being traded from the Utah Jazz. An organization that he really didn't agree with a whole lot, didn't like the way he was being played. It wasn't a good fit for him. So that's always a storyline when a player goes back to a team that he played for, a team that drafted him. Last season, first time he went back, he got extensive boos, played really well, but the Thunder ended up short in that game. So it's going to be interesting to see how Kanter, with his seemingly improved defense this season, really goes out and plays against a fairly formidable front line led by Rudy Gobert with the Utah Jazz.
All right. And boys, I know it's way early in the season, but do you think we have all of the elements in terms of coaching staff, in terms of lead players on the Thunder team to take us to the finals?
I think we do, and particularly when you look at the coaching staff that we've assembled this season, Billy Donovan, great run through college, won multiple national championships at Florida, so he's a winner. He knows what it takes to win. But when he gets to the NBA, he's never coached here, but the people that we put around him have. He's got Monty Williams and Maurice Cheeks on his staff, who Maurice Cheeks was also a coach in Oklahoma City when we made the finals run in 2012. And Monty Williams, of course, was the coach of the New Orleans Pelicans, who knocked us out of the playoffs last season, or out of the playoff race, excuse me. So I think, and with Kevin Durant and Russell Westbrook, I think you've got all the keys there that you need.
Okay. What about you, Justin? What do you think?
It's one of those where it really comes down to a toss-up with me. The way Golden State is playing, they're an absolute fantastic basketball team. It's been really fun to watch. I hate to say it as a Thunder fan, but they're a fun team to watch, but I think this team, the more they get entrenched within the system, learn to play together even more, they're going to be a dangerous team, and we won't see Golden State until February. So look for this team to really make a good push here in December and January and build something leading towards the playoffs this year. And I think they're an absolute force to be reckoned with, and definitely an awesome favorite to get to the Western Conference Finals, if not the NBA Finals themselves, and further on to a championship.
All right. Well, Justin, do you have any last-minute predictions that you have with the Thunder or perhaps any other of the other NBA teams?
Really, the way I look at this game, like I said, it's going to be a battle of different strengths with Utah defensively and Oklahoma City offensively. I think the Thunder really keep with their winning ways, really use this to build on for momentum this season, especially with KD coming back. I see the Thunder winning 106-94 tonight.
Well, how about you, Trey?
I'm really excited for this game. I think we win also. I'm not willing to put a score out there. I don't know that much about it. But one thing that I'm really looking forward to tonight is Rudy Gobert versus Steven Adams. Rudy Gobert's got 3 blocks a game, and he's averaging 11 rebounds. So I think it'll be interesting to see how him and Steven Adams come back down there on the low post.
All right. So the most important question of the evening, Trey, Justin, are you guys going to Louis tonight?
Maybe later. I got a dinner reservation here in a little bit.
All right. Well,
I'm about to head that way.
Are you? Okay. Well, Justin, I might see you there. Trey, I might see you there too. So, Trey, Justin, hey, thank you guys so much for coming on to the program and keeping us up to date. But before you guys go, could you tell us your website again, Justin, and then give us some of your Twitter handle?
Well, we're both working for Thunder Op-Ed. It's more of a little bit Trey's brainchild. And I'm running at Thunder Tie on Twitter. I like to live tweet games. Usually about 70, 80 a year. I'll miss a few here and there, but love being active on Twitter and love interacting with the fans.
All right. Trey, Justin, hey, thank you guys so much for joining us this evening.
Thanks for having us on, Jonathan.
You're welcome.
Hey, thanks, Jonathan.
You're welcome. Talk to you guys soon.
Bye.
Well, we want to thank our audience for listening this evening, and before we get to Estela Hernandez, I want to remind you how to tune in to our show, and you can access our program using the TuneIn Radio app. If you don't have it already downloaded to your phone, I want to remind you that it is 100% free. Simply go to your App Store selection on your phone, tablet, computer, or smart device and enter TuneIn Radio into the selection bar. Then click download. After you have it installed on your device, open the app, find the search bar at the top of your screen and enter KTLV. You'll find it at the top of your list. Select KTLV, then push play. It's that easy. Or we have one other option of gaining access to Oklahoma Voice, and that is by live streaming at KTLV.com. We've also created a channel on YouTube where you can rewatch any shows you might have missed, and that is at Oklahoma Voice with Jonathan Clour. These are all recorded by webcam and downloaded the evening of the show. So if you really want to see what's going on in the studios during the broadcast, then we suggest you visit our YouTube channel. And of course, as promised, we have Estela Hernandez on the line. She is the vice chairman of the Oklahoma Republican Party. Estela, welcome to the program.
How are you, Jonathan? Thank you for having me.
I am wonderful. We were doing our last-minute Thunder analysis and pregame, and then we wanted to save the best for last, and so we were thrilled to have you on tonight.
Thank you. I think there's great things happening at the Oklahoma Republican Party. So I so appreciate the invitation and just to be able to share with your listeners some of the upcoming events and just discuss really anything that you would like to. And I'd like to share everything that's in my heart as well.
Awesome. Well, what are some events that are up and coming?
Well, one of the ones that are coming now, most recent, is going to be December 4th. We have a fireside chat with Governor of Texas, Governor Abbott, and that will be at 5:30 is the reception and the dinner at 6:30, and it's going to be at the Sports Hall of Fame. So that's going to be a great event that you don't want to miss. They can go on our Facebook page to access the Eventbrite as well, to be able to get tickets. The next one is December 14th, and that's going to be a fireside chat with Congressman Russell, and that will also be at the Sports Hall of Fame at 7 p.m.
At 7 p.m. At the Sports Hall of Fame, you said?
That's correct.
All right. Well, and isn't there a portion of the GOP website that lists these functions?
Yes, we do have an events area there on the webpage. What we do want to mention is that we are updating several things on there, along with the county chairs for every county. Their contact information is on there. However, that is all being updated. So if anyone wants to get involved, we encourage everyone to do so by attending their precinct meetings. We encourage them to call state headquarters. And that number, if I'm able to give that number, is
yes.
405-528-3501, and we can get them in contact with their county chair and be able to give them the date of the precinct meeting for them to engage and become involved as well.
All right. And if there's someone listening that does not know what a county chair is, or the difference between the county GOP and the state GOP, then could you please explain to our listeners all of the different layers of the Republican Party, from the national level all the way down to the grassroots level of the county?
Absolutely. And that's what we want individuals to do, is to engage. And we know that Republicans are waking up and they're saying, well, what can I do? And I want to do more. So what we encourage, and of course it's bottom up, not top down, and it starts with the grassroots, and they are the ones who truly make a difference. So with the precincts, we start out at the precinct level and of course I'll give a date there. That's going to be in February, our precinct meeting. Mm-hmm. And then from our precincts, then we will then have our county convention on March 5th. Well, that of course is for Oklahoma County, but of course we want them to know that in March those county conventions are happening. But once they engage at the precinct level, they will then be able to engage with our counties. And then our county chairmen, they help individuals to kind of let them know what's going on. And of course, each county has different events as well. And then, of course, we have our districts. We have the 5 districts. And those will be in April, will be the district meetings. And so after that, then, of course, it's the state convention, mm-hmm. which will be May 14th.
All right. What is the purpose of the state Republican Party?
Yes, that's a wonderful question. And, you know, the role of the state party, it encompasses so much. But truly what we want to ensure is that we get Republicans elected. We want to ensure that the state party, is a resource and an effective surrogate to our candidates, and making sure that we provide them all the resources that they need. And, of course, we don't engage during the primary, but once we have a Republican nominee, we then put everything that we have to be able to ensure that we help them get elected. And this is, of course, at every level. This is not just at the state level for, let's say, the state Senate or House or for the House, but it's really county, all local races as well. So we engage in everything. And, of course, we want to inform and educate and, of course, provide different forums so that our state knows who's running, what the candidates stand for, and be able to truly engage and really have face time, you can say, with those candidates. And, of course, we champion the principles of the Republican Party, and you know, we inform and educate. So there's a lot of things that encompass the state Republican Party. Hmm.
A lot of people look at the grand scheme of things. They look at the national level and they see that there's so many issues that are plagued, throughout the government on the national level. They might look at the state level, but they think that these are the only areas that you can make a difference, when in reality, you can make the difference at the grassroots level. And that is engaging your community, informing your community, even if that's just in your local precincts. Am I right?
That is right. It's interesting because a large majority of individuals are engaged more at the national level. They know what candidates are running, and of course, it's a presidential election year coming up, so then individuals are engaged there. But of course, we know that there are many individuals who are concerned and want to do more, and it is so important for them to engage, and that's what we are at state headquarters, is to say, anything that you may need, questions you may have, we have an open door policy. So they are welcome to stop by in person or send us or give us a call. We are there to help and assist.
You are the vice chair of the state GOP. What is that position, and what are the responsibilities of vice chair?
Yes. Well, first, I want to be able, for those who are unaware, I want to be able to introduce our state chairman who was recently elected. For the first time in history, we have two females who are at the leadership position with the state GOP, which is Pam Pollard. She was recently elected, and I remain as state vice chair. And of course, the state chairman, she is responsible for creating that blueprint and the direction that she wants to have our party go. And so my role is to be able to assist her and in anything that she needs to be able to do all of the things that the party is required to do. Like I mentioned, as far as electing Republicans and being a resource to our candidates. So really, my role is to be a helper and of course to engage our counties and to empower and encourage the growth of our counties as well.
Okay, and as you said, it's been quite the momentous year because this is our very first year to have a chairman and a vice chairman as both women. And also, are you the first Hispanic vice chairman to be elected to the GOP?
No, to my knowledge, that seems to be the case. But if anyone, I correct me if I'm wrong, but to my knowledge, I may be the first female Hispanic elected to as vice chair of the state party, which is a privilege and an honor, I must say. For me, it's first I'm an American, and so it's not about, of course, race or gender, but it truly is about service and stepping into that leadership role. The Lord has equipped me to be able to do so and just to be most effective with the things that He has entrusted me. So it truly is an honor to be able to serve the party, first as an American, and then, of course, as a woman and just a Christian woman.
Are there some assets that you can bring to the GOP table as a female Hispanic American?
Yes, I feel that I do, and I think those are the things that motivated me to engage, was that I didn't see enough minorities engaging within the party, and we share in the Republican values as conservatives. We are pro-family, pro-faith, and so we align more with the Republican Party and those values than we do with the opposition. But I didn't see enough individuals out there effectively being able to engage minority communities, not just Hispanics, but so many other groups as well, and just building those relationships. And I just wanted to bring that and be able to help in any way that I could in building those relationships. I was already engaged in the Hispanic community, and I knew that I could do more and just help and serve.
In what ways have you served the Hispanic and Latino communities and caught their attention?
I have served in different capacities. I've served on different boards, but also starting in 2011, I was the spokesperson for the TV station Mundo Fox, Oklahoma City, and have just engaged, of course, with the Hispanic Chamber. I'm a business owner and also a mother of three, and so really just been involved with the community. I understand the needs of the community, but also as an immigrant myself, I know the challenges that come with not only being an immigrant, but understanding the importance of truly integrating and becoming an American, and the importance of understanding the language and the culture of America. It's not just coming and work hard and knowing that we live in the best country, and that there's not a dream too big that we can't achieve. But we have to put in our part. It's not what America can give us. It's what can we give back to this great nation who has afforded so much to us.
Don't you do some work with newly immigrated peoples into America, for example, like the Hispanic folks?
Yes. Also when I started helping and assisting creating a community engagement program for the county and the state level a few years ago, I saw the importance of having Republicans attend naturalization ceremonies. For many years and decades, actually, it was only Democrats who would attend. And I started engaging, and now we have Republican presence at monthly naturalization ceremonies, and I attend every month and help register individuals to vote and helping them understand the importance of civic engagement, that it's not just about going to the polls and voting, but being an informed voter as well. So it truly is a privilege to go every month, which is something that for me, became a citizen also at the age of 18. So I know what a special day that is, and just a very, it truly is. You walk away with such a moment of knowing the privilege of becoming an American by choice. And I always tell individuals, those of you who were born in America, don't take it for granted. It's the really one of the single most greatest gifts that we can have for those who are able to call themselves an American, especially by birth.
Let's just say you are standing in front of a family that has been newly credentialed, has just gone through their naturalization ceremony. What words would you say to them to convince them to register as a Republican?
Well, one of the things that we do while at naturalization ceremonies, we don't promote a party. They truly want us to stay away from doing that. But when individuals ask me personally, or when I'm able to have personal conversations with them as I'm registering them, they want to know the differences between the two parties. And it's interesting because while they're going through the classes of becoming a citizen, that's not taught to them, the two differences of the Democratic Party and the Republican Party, which I think would be very beneficial to them. But me personally, when I am able to have these one-on-one conversations with them, I tell them why I'm a Republican. The Republican Party shares in my values, and I vote my values. So when they ask me, what should I put down? I can't tell them what to put down, but what I do encourage them is, think from within, dig deep, and vote your values. And then I tell them, really what the Republican Party stands for and the Democratic Party stands for. And when individuals can do the research on their own, it's not very difficult for them to see that, for the most part, minorities do align with the Republican Party.
The Hispanic and Latino communities play a tremendous role in who gets elected nationally and locally. Does the GOP need to improve its relations with the Hispanic and Latinos?
We have definitely been working at building those relationships and ensuring that we don't bring up that really create a barrier as opposed to welcoming them. And we are a party that we are inclusive and we welcome them. And we understand the numbers are growing and they continue to grow. But to be standoffish and to create that barrier doesn't help. What we want to do is educate and inform and welcome them into the party. We don't have to water down our Republican message and our conservative principles, by no means. What we do is we actually present them and allow them to see what we stand for And as they see what they believe, they will see that they themselves are Republicans. Our President Ronald Reagan once said that Hispanics are Republicans. They just don't know it yet. So it really comes down to us being and taking part of that education to them.
Estella, before we run out of time, tell us a little bit about your family.
Yes, thank you for asking.
Yeah.
That is truly the greatest job that I will ever have is to be a mother. And it is the one simple job that I truly hold dear because I'm going to have to give account to what foundation I give to these three children of mine. They are 7, 9, and 11. And I, one of the foundations that I want to instill in them is the love for God, that they can achieve anything so long as they put God first, and the importance of loving this country and giving back to them, to it. So it is. I am privileged to be able to go through this phase in life right now as a mother, and also being able to serve our state as a state vice chair of the Oklahoma Republican Party is truly an honor.
Powerful words. Do you have any last statements you'd like to share with our people?
Yes, I just encourage individuals to continue to listen to your program. You are making a difference. I encourage individuals to engage with the Republican Party, to go to and visit okgop.com and to attend their precinct meetings. We need everyone involved. It has to be all hands on deck. We have to be able to plant that seed, but it starts in our family, and it starts in our neighborhoods and in our churches. We all can make a difference.
Yes. Estella, I want to thank you again for coming on to our program, and we look forward to your return.
Thank you for the invitation. Hope to hear from you soon.
You're welcome, Estella. Thank you.
Uh-huh.
I also want to thank our sport contributors Trey Shelton and Justin Wright, and we thank them for coming onto the program and giving us our Thunder pregame report. They should be coming on again very soon, and they'll be keeping us updated with all of our Oklahoma sport news. As always, good night, good luck, and Thunder up. This has been Oklahoma Voice with Jonathan Clour. Tune in Monday through Friday night at 7 p.m. on the TuneIn Radio app, by live streaming at KTLV.com, or by radio on station 1220 AM.
KTLV AM 1220 concludes its broadcast day. For information on programming, operations, and sales, please check out our website at KTLV.com. This is KTLV, Midwest City, Oklahoma City.